Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. So welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So I hope that all of you were able to receive the weekly mailing I sent out on Monday with the sort of topic and the link to a sutta that we're going to be going over this evening. It's a very important sutta. And it's actually the number 2, the second sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. And the first sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya is the root of all things, which is very profound. And this second sutta, the Sabbāsava Sutta, is the overcoming of all the defilements. We've gone over this before, but it's important to remind ourselves and to reinforce that in our mind, especially even when it comes up in our daily life, in various situations, wherever you are, and various things that happen to us around, during the day, grab our attention and cause our mind to react in different ways. So it's important to remember how to deal with and overcome the various what are called defilements. So Sabbāsava Sutta means all the defilements. And of course, it's translated in different ways. So maybe the translation that I sent out, the link to the translation to the sutta mentioned define the asavas as effluents, or sometimes they're translated as taints. Like something gets tainted, that means something gets defiled by something else, or defilements. But basically, these defilements or the asavas basically revolve all the things that stem from greed, hatred, and delusion. So we've read in our teachings and understand that the root cause of all suffering basically is the accumulated greed, hatred, and delusions that are within the mind. Now, greed, hatred, and delusions have many spin-off type of defilements to them that basically, mean all kinds of attachments, desires, envy, jealousy, ill will, anger, pride, conceit, and all the various, so-called unskillful or negative states of mind that keep our mind and body caught up in the web of karma. So we react on all of these various types of defiled thoughts, and then create karma around them, breaking precepts, and then having to experience the results, the painful results of those actions. So this sutta expounds on 7 different ways that the Buddha mentioned or explained on how to overcome these type of mental, pollutants or, obstructions. And that, basically they affect our meditation practice on one hand, but on the other hand, they interfere with our daily lives and cause all kinds of problems in our daily life with our family members and in society in general. But then when we go to try to practice the Dhamma, to practice meditation especially, then even these are what feed the hindrances. And so all of these defilements are also called fetters. They're called fetters, they're called hindrances, and then they manifest in different ways. So Buddha, in his very profound understanding and wisdom, he saw these 7 different ways in which a person can overcome these mental defilements in order to, experience freedom and to attain the stages of liberation. Now, so I'm going to just read parts of this sutta, and if you have it with you, have that link to the one I sent out, you can follow that. So he's talking to the monks, and he said, "Monks, the ending of the defilements is one who knows and sees, and not for one who doesn't know and doesn't see." And then he asks a further question or statement, "For one who knows what and sees what." And so in this first explanation, so one who knows and sees, and it's not just simply knowing what we're seeing, but knowing specifically how our mind latches on to what we hear, see, taste, smell, touch, and think about. And he's seeing the important thing is knowing what is appropriate attention and what is inappropriate attention. So whenever we experience an object, let's say you see an object, and something catches your eye, right? And then you look at something, and then it might be something that causes liking or desire in your mind. Let's say, just a typical example, another person, right? And so we latch on to the marks of beauty, saying, "Oh, what beautiful hair that person has, what nice, soft, creamy skin they have, what beautiful eyes, or what kind of a figure they have." Either, if it's desirable or if it produces a unpleasant sensation, if it's something they don't desire. And so they might fix on the marks of ugliness or beauty. And then the like and dislike based on their past conditioning comes up. So the appropriate attention and inappropriate attention, one who attends wisely and one who attends unwisely, depends on knowing what is the appropriate attention or inappropriate attention. And so it goes on, when a person attends appropriately, that means with the understanding of Dhamma, knowing that everything is basically just comprised of the 4 elements, it's just basically a vibration, and it has its, certain uses and so on. when a person attends appropriately, the unarisen defilements do not arise, and the arisen defilements are abandoned. And if a person attends inappropriately, then the arisen defilements increase, and the ones who have not arisen, they arise. And so that requires some degree of mindfulness, and it requires a degree of understanding the Dhamma, because most people, they like to attend inappropriately. That means they react with lust, desire, anger, jealousy, envy. They react or attend to these things with these emotional states that then, as I've already mentioned, cause us to create unskillful actions or skillful actions. So it's the attention, knowing what is appropriate attention and inappropriate attention. If you dwell on the inappropriate, like having desire for something, then lust might get stronger in you. And then you see this desire to satisfy that by maybe taking advantage of somebody, or stealing, or even telling, lying, basically, breaking the precepts. All the precepts are broken because of desire, latching and holding on to desire, thinking we have to have that object, and delighting in that lust and so on, and desire, or the opposite, anger or hatred, or getting jealous and envious of others' possessions, and building that up. So that's called the inappropriate attention and the appropriate attention. So that is the first phase of that one who knows and sees what. So it's knowing what is appropriate attention, how to attend wisely to an object, and what is inappropriate attention, and to let go of that inappropriate attention. So anything that incites more greed, hatred, and delusion, and all those spin-off mental states, then that is attending inappropriately, without mindfulness and clear comprehension. And one who attends appropriately, or attends with wise attention, understands that, okay, these objects and desires are coming through the mind, but not to feed them, knowing that if you indulge in these greed, hatred, and deluded associated thoughts, it could lead to breaking precepts or becoming more addicted and dependent on the ephemeral world, and causing unnecessary problems. So that's the way one attends wisely or unwisely, depending on what kind of defilements either arise or they drop away from the mind. So those are the end of suffering is for one who knows and sees. Of course, it depends on understanding the Dhamma. And now that is the opening part of this sutta. Now there's 7 ways that we can foster that, the appropriate attention and knowing how to, attend wisely. And so the first defilement, or the overcome, the first technique is by seeing. And the most powerful of the techniques of overcome defilements is by seeing. And basically this means seeing the Four Noble Truths. Now if you read the sutra, it goes through and you know, explains a lot of different aspects of the seeing. But basically, it's seeing the Four Noble Truths. This is suffering. This is the cause of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. And this is the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So that is and this refers to actually entering the stream. So this, the defilements that are overcome by seeing means the fetters, the 10 fetters. And we've talked about that before in other talks quite a lot. Those first 3 fetters of overcoming the personality belief, the belief in a permanent, unchanging I or me that somehow in our mind that belongs to us and is permanent and real. And then the attachment to rites and rituals, thinking that just reciting a mantra 1,000 times will purify your karma, or bathing in the sacred rivers in India, which was a rite and a ritual, thinking that by just bathing in sacred water to wash your past negative karma away, or other type of beliefs. Circumambulating a holy mountain will guarantee you rebirth in the heaven worlds, and so on. So these are considered at the time the Buddha had mentioned as being rites and rituals, or there could be other ones too. Just bowing, like if you bow 108 times to the Buddha every day, that'll guarantee you, rebirth in heaven, and so on. Now, it could be rebirth in heaven, but we're talking about attaining the stages of enlightenment, not being reborn in the heaven worlds, but about overcoming the defilements. So that first technique is actually the seeing refers to the glimpse of emptiness, the glimpse of which is tantamount to seeing the Four Noble Truths within the Buddha's Dharma teachings. Now, other people might define it in different ways, but this is specifically according to the Dhamma and the teachings of the Buddha on this subject, because that's what most of us are practicing and following, because we regard these teachings as being, the path, the appropriate path, skill in in this spiritual practice. Anyway, so again, that seeing refers to actually getting that glimpse of the Four Noble Truths, which is tantamount to entering the stream. And that is, one who knows and sees is one who knows and sees the Four Noble Truths. Because everything is becomes very clear when one has that experience, when the sense of self and I fades away, and you gain that sort of transcendent non-dual awareness, even if it's just for a very short time. And you saw something, and you saw the nature of suffering, you saw what the cause of suffering and how it ceases in the path. So that's just the first of the 7 ways, and probably the most powerful way of overcoming those defilements, because they're permanently eradicated. Those 3 first fetters are permanently eradicated only with the attainment of the entering the stream. So, and then that is normally said to be the most important one. And then that allows one to be successful in the rest of these. But if one doesn't attain that, overcome the defilements by seeing, practicing the rest of these, 2 through 6, are ways that will help us to gain the right conditions, mental conditions for that moment of direct seeing to occur. So the second one is to overcome the defilements by restraining. So when the defilements are still, operative, and they will be until one has attained at least that stage of the stream entry, then we have to restrain ourselves. And that's where the practice of mindfulness plays its important part. And to restrain the urges that arise. So, we all have urges when we experience things, the urge to want to speak, or let's say, especially like with language and speaking, you're getting a conversation with people and somebody says something you don't like and you see some anger arising and you see the urge to want to, rebut that person or to curse the person or tell a lie or some other type of speech, then you have to have the mindfulness to note, this is inappropriate attention. This is where you have to apply that. Seeing that person as the enemy, and apply appropriate attention, saying, well, that sound is just a sound. Whatever they said or whatever I'm seeing, it's just a sound vibration, a visible vibration. It's impermanent. And restrain yourself from acting inappropriately. That means breaking one of the precepts or some other type of unskillful behavior. So that's how the restraining, that means restraining the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and your mind. Like restraining it, if anger arises, restrain yourself from, engaging in inappropriate ways, or, lust and desire. So we have to visibly restrain ourselves until we've attained at least the second stage of enlightenment. Greed and hatred, greed and anger and so on will always be there to some degree. And so when it arises, we have to have that mindfulness to observe it in the appropriate way, analyze it even, and to restrain ourselves from not doing it. And I usually give the example of, let's say you're outside and a mosquito lands on you. And you can see that the ordinary person might, immediately, it's a mosquito, and, maybe try to kill it. And so, but somebody who's practicing appropriately would try to restrain themselves from killing that, if you're, observing the precepts. And applying some other methods to deal with it, such as, just, kind of shooing it away with a flick of a finger instead of, deliberately wanting to kill it, or whatever other reactions. So that's why mindfulness is absolutely necessary in order to practice the restraint. Otherwise, most people don't restrain themselves because they regard it as being their right to get angry, their right to curse somebody out, their right to justify why they should steal something, or steal from the rich and give to the poor, or to tell lies because everyone else do it. So, these things are very common, and restrain yourself from wanting to intoxicate your mind or doing other unskillful actions. So that's why, it's very hard for people who haven't trained themselves to do that. And we see it because we can see it all the time, everywhere we go. So the overcoming the immediate effect. So, there's two ways of overcoming. One is to temporarily overcome the defilements by the restraining, and then the other one is attaining the 4 stages of enlightenment that totally destroy the root of the, greed, hatred, and delusion, and to overcome those fetters. So the rest of these, the restraining, the using, the enduring, the avoiding, and the abandoning, these are all for, persons who have not yet, have developed their mind highly and who have not attained the stages of enlightenment, and especially the higher stages, because the root of those defilements are still there. But these are very practical ways that the Buddha described on how to, all these next ones that we're talking about are the things that occur in daily life, and it can occur at any moment during your waking life. So especially that restraining oneself when you have that urge to want to use bad language or do some other unskillful action. And then the next way is by using. And this particularly pertains to the monastics, the Buddhist monks who, before they eat food, before they wear their robes, before they use the shelters or beds or chairs, or before they use medicine, there's certain verses that remind themselves that I'm using these things not out of greed or desire, or use them to get revenge on somebody else, but using these things only for helping to keep the unpleasant sensations away and to keep the pains that would occur by not using them, to minimize that. So it takes some a little bit of understanding to, but so this is specifically refers to, when you eat, most people eat to, live to eat. A lot of people say, oh, I live to eat, and they want to eat everything, and they want to go to different restaurants and, all this, and they want to satisfy their taste buds and all that, and so this increases desire. But when the monks eat, they normally reflect, use this food like medicine, not out of craving for the taste or to fatten the body or gain big powerful muscles or gain a good physique, and these various type of things that people might do with food and so on. They see the food just as basically like medicine. And so as you wouldn't overdo medicine and take medicine is not appropriate the same way, is what we reflect on that. So that's just one way of, when we use something in our daily life, to try to reflect on why we're using it, and we're using it to accomplish a certain task, but not using it in order to increase our defilements, basically. That's what it means. Okay, I think I'm going to maybe so far stop in going over the sutta, because again, I don't want to go on too long, and I want to open it up and see if there's any questions on anything that we just talked about, and we'll keep the next, the last few sections of the sutta to carry on with next week. So if anybody has any questions based on oh no, what happened? Oh, there we go. Let me see if there's anything came up in the chat box. Okay, here's a question. How much restraint should we apply during daily life? Is applying the restraint necessary to uphold the precepts enough? Well, yes, in short, the restraint is not to, commit some unskillful action, which would be basically breaking any one of the the precepts, and not only the 5 precepts, but like with the speech. But it could be other things. Just restrain yourself from doing things that you know are not going to bring you much benefit, and maybe just cause you more addiction to something. Maybe you're trying to stop smoking or drinking, or maybe some other bad habits, that are not really good for you, and so even though that may not be breaking any precepts exactly, to help to wean your over addiction to things, or over dependence to any kind of substances, and maybe watching too much TV, or other sort of things, or listening to too much music, things that'll take away from the time that you could use for being mindful, and so on. So each person is going to have to for themselves understand about this restraining these urges that come up, and ask yourself, is this really necessary to do this now? Am I doing this just out of boredom, or so on, and to because the whole point in Dhamma is to gradually make progress, right? Make progress in weakening one's over-dependence on sensory stimulation, and then the overindulgence in things that become hindrances for our meditation practice. So especially this for people that are meditating, and all of you are meditating, and so anyway, so it's that, and one can there's different ways of following the precepts. One could follow the precepts in the exact literal translation, like, okay, I won't kill, but it doesn't mean you can't kick the cat or kick the dog, or do other things. There's not necessarily killing, right? But if you want to take the precept further, that would then you could say, well, we'll take it further, not to kill something, but to protect life, or to not to cause harm to other living beings. So in that way, you are practicing it a little bit at a higher level, you might say, not just the bare minimum. But a lot of people just want to do the bare minimum. And so, I've done it, but if you really want to make gradual progress in deepening the, your refining your mind and so on, then, practicing these things at a more deeper level is, important. And that's why so many of these other things are also incorporated. I hope that answered that question. Does anybody else have any question they would like to ask? You could raise your yellow hand on the computer if you know what that is, or you could just speak up if you like. Okay, here's another question in the box. How can we discern between using food out of need versus out of want? How might we interrogate our mind and body to discern what our intention is with food in a given situation? Do different sensations arise when using food out of need? Well, yeah, the 4 requisites, the Buddha said there are 4 requisites in life that people need to survive. And food is one of them. And clothing and shelter and medicines. But with food, we know that a lot of people overeat. And, because you you can see that desire in the mind. But it doesn't mean you deny yourself any type of desire, but overeating to the point where you get a stomach ache, especially if it's like junk food or food that's not really good for you, and because, it's food production, we all know that they put chemicals in food to make it taste better, and that's a way of hooking, sugar and other type of things that, they know what addicts, especially with children, right? All this candy and sweets, and we get caught up in those things when we're younger, and then they remain habits when we get older. And that doesn't mean you deny yourself any of those things, but to know when, everyone's got to make that discern by yourself, because everyone is different, and you can't, one blanket, level of practice is not going to necessarily be the same for, different people. So people have to find that, determine that when, is enough is enough. But like, we all know that most people do overeat, or they eat out of boredom, they eat between meals. So like in monasteries, monks and nuns, or you go to the meditation center, you're not allowed to, just eat whenever you want, snack, and you limit your food to once or twice a day, and especially during retreats, right? We're taking the 8 precepts. And usually people feel very fine, even going on a 10-day retreat, not eating after noon, going 18 hours, without eating. And they're, maybe the first day or two they might think about it, but actually they start feeling quite good. And, they even might be thinking, oh, I think I'll keep this up even in my daily life. Most of them don't. Some of them do. But and nowadays doctors are talking about this 16-8 diet or eating habit, where you eat only in a 6-hour window, like from 6 in the morning to noon, and then you fast for 18 hours. That's, even doctors are telling now, that is a good practice too, or intermittent fasting, what they're calling intermittent fasting. That it's got, good health, it has the health benefits to it. And so that would be a good thing to follow too, if you're not following, but the monastic practice is doing that, because that's when normally we just eat something in the morning and at noon, and in the afternoon even we don't, partake of, solid food and so on. So anyway, that is how each person has to see that, and that, especially with this snacking in between, it's really not necessary, and it's actually bad in the sense of, more wear and tear on your body to have to digest food and produce stomach acid and other things if you're, eating 4 or 5 or 6 times a day, like a lot of people might do, but to restrain that. So, but, basically there's no exact rules about it, and people have to find that their own way of, practicing that, and as well as with the other things that we'll, be going over. Can we reduce stress also by restraining? In the sutta it mentioned the attends appropriately. This is stress. This is the origination of stress. Actually, they're meaning suffering. So when something is causing you, or is a source of suffering, you attend. If I do this, that's going to bring me problems. So that's attending wisely. Like if I drink intoxicate the mind, that's might cause me to do some foolish things, and then get into more trouble. And everybody probably, so many people have that experience. Certainly I did so many times when I was younger, right? So we know that some of the things we do are going to cause us, difficulties. And so that's attending appropriately. You reflect before you do something. You reflect. Is what am I about to do going to bring harm to myself, bring harm to others, or both myself and others? And if you see if it would, you don't do that. You restrain yourself. In the same way with all of the other six senses. What am I listening to now? Is it going to cause harm to myself or both or others? But especially one's thoughts and other actions concerning the precepts. If I tell a lie now, is it going to hurt myself, both or others, even immediately or down the line? And if you see it is, you let go of it. You restrain yourself. So that's the way of attending wisely, when these situations come up. Okay, so okay, friends. So I think we'll go ahead and take a few minutes break now, and then come back for doing a few yoga stretches and then our meditation. Okay, we'll see you back in a few minutes.
Sadhu, Bhante.
Keep your chin lifted up, level with the floor. Just gently close your eyes. Start to feel the outline of the standing body. Head on top, arms at the sides, feet pressing the floor. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. 2 or 3 seconds to breathe in, hold the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. And slowly breathe out, feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. And the next in-breath, develop this mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll combine these breathing with these movements. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms. Look up at the back of your hands, stretch upwards. And release your fingers on the out-breath, arms back to the sides. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. And again, in-breath. Stretch upwards, bend back a little bit. Feel the arch in the spine. Release the fingers, out breath. Feel the last bit of air go out. Once more, in. Stretch up, bend back a little more, hold it a little longer. Release the fingers, out breath. Close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Don't let the mind rush to the future. Feel the increased body sensation, especially in your hands or fingers. Feel the clothing touching the outer skin. Just remember the present moment of standing, just letting go of your thoughts. And feel the outline of the standing body in the mind's eye. Now with the next in-breath, lift up on the toes while raising the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other. Stretch up. Out breath, come back down. Use the in-breath to help lift up the body. Out. In. Out. Let's close the eyes. Feel the increased sensation. And feel the increased heart beating, pulsation. Your prickly, itchy sensation. standing, standing, standing. Your clothing touching the skin in different places. Letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep the standing body in the front of the awareness. Now on the next in-breath, raise both arms up over the head. Keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over your right side as far as you comfortably can. Keep the arms parallel to each other like railroad track. In-breath, lift up. And then bend to the other side, out-breath. In. Keep alternating sides with the breathing out. In. Out. In. Once more to each side, out. Lower the arms on the out-breath. Close the eyes, feeling the whole body. Clothing touching the outer skin, the subtle life force pulsations under the skin. Remember standing. Standing. Now spread the feet about 3 feet apart. We'll do twisting from side to side, holding the arms out. And breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. The in breath, come back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body, then twist to the other side. Next out breath. In breath, front. Keep alternating sides like that. Out breath to the right. In. Out. In. Once more to each side. Back to the front. Lower the arms. Close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the sensation of the feet spread apart. Hands touching the sides. Feel the clothing touching the skin. Feel your head balanced on top, and the eyes in the socket. Feel the prickly sensation. This body exactly as it is, here and now. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Now place the hands together at the chest. And breathe in, raise the hands over the head. On the out breath, lower the hands to the chest and bend your knees to lower the body down. Try to keep the back upright. Feel the stretch in your knees and hips. On the in breath, lift all the way up. On the in out breath, lower down. And come down a little more. In. Out. In. The out breath, arms back to the sides. Let's close the eyes, see the outline of the body, all the different sensations. Feel that increased aliveness of the body. And now we'll do the forward and backward bending. Be careful with the back bends. Not to bend back too far the first time, especially when you lift up from a back bend. You're aware of anything. Body shaking or dizziness. So just let your hands touch the front of the legs. And breathe in. On the out breath, bend forward, let your hands slide down to the kneecaps. Keep your head lifted up, looking out straight ahead. Try to flatten the spine, get the hump out of the spine. Feel the stretch in the back of the legs. In breath, lift up. Move the hands under the buttocks for support. Let the head go back. Gently bend backwards on the out breath. Keep your eyes open, feel the arch in the spine. In breath, carefully lift up. Down the second time, let the hands come down below your knees, but still keep the head lifted up. Looking out straight ahead, feel the extra stretch in the back of your legs. In breath. And again, the back bend, be careful. In breath up. And the third time, let your hands come down as far as you can towards your feet. The ankles, and hold on. They're longer, feeling the extra stretch in the back of your legs. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Begin lifting up the in-breath. And once more, the back bend, just be careful. Carefully lift up. On the out breath, just relax your shoulders and arms. Feel the whole body. The increased aliveness of the whole body. With each foot pressing the floor, hands at the sides, clothing touching the skin, head balanced on top, the eyes in the sockets. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Starting point for any deeper meditation. Now bring your legs and feet together. Do one last simple exercise, the head turning from right to left. On an in-breath, turn your head to the right as far as you comfortably can. Get a stiff neck, be careful, feel a twist in the neck. Out breath, turn the head back 180 degrees to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagine, feel them loosening up. Out breath left. In right. Left. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the middle, feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating, activated, present moment awareness. Imagine that activated life force is like a healing energy. Okay, so now let's come back to our seats, get ready for the sitting. So just get comfortable in your sitting posture. Try to align your spine and the back of your head in a straight line. Keep the chin lifted up level with the floor. Just gently close your eyes. Just feel the head balanced on top. Try to feel that outline of the sitting body, the head on top, arms at the sides, hands touching together, buttocks pressing the seat, feet tucked underneath. Feel the clothing touching the skin. Try to hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. Then begin some deep, slow breathing, holding the air in the lungs a few seconds. And feel the last bit of air going out of the lungs on the out breath. Just cultivating this mindfulness, breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to try counting our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. You can take some deeper, slower breaths to help stay focused. Or just let the breath be natural. But with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Feel the brief pause, and with the out breath also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lung. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In, 3. Out, 3. In, 4. 4, in 5, out 5, in 6, out 6, in 7, out 7, in 8, out 8, in 9, out 9, in 10, out 10. Now discontinue the counting. Let your breathing return to its uncontrolled, shorter, irregular rhythm, but continue to feel it. Keep your attention focused either on the sensation of the air going through the nostrils or on the expanding and contracting sensation of the abdomen, stomach, or chest as it expands and contracts. And just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling those sensations. Just try to be like a scientist looking down through a microscope. Feel the inner body. Try to tune into the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The expanding in-breath and the brief pause. The contracting out-breath and the brief pause. Just over and over and over again. To help stay focused, you can make these brief mental reminders of in sitting, out sitting. It's the ongoing, continuous, present moment of this breathing body. In sitting, out sitting. you still have lots of thoughts, you can try counting the breaths again from 1 to 10 by yourself. See if you can make it to 10 by yourself without the mind getting lost in thoughts or going to sleep. If any time the mind loses its counting, start the counting again at 1. So it becomes a challenge not to lose your counting, having to start over. And be alert for thoughts sneaking in, steal your mind away. Letting go of the thoughts, coming back to the breathing, to the counting, just to in, sitting, out, sitting. Stay alert, awake, breath by breath, moment by moment. Try to notice how each breath is different, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Sometimes the pauses between the breaths are longer or shorter. It's always changing. Part of knowing and seeing is knowing that this body lives off this oxygen being brought into the lungs. Breathing out the carbon dioxide. The heart pumping this oxygenated blood out to all the cells of the body. Even while feeling the breath going in and out, other sensations can be noticed in or around through the breathing body, itchy sensations, aches or pains. I even feel the heart beating, body-centered awareness. You catch the mind totally lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost, thinking. Take a deep, slow breath, bring the mind back into the body. Back to in, sitting, out, sitting. Breathing body is the natural anchor of the mind of the present moment. We lose that connection to the breathing body, then the mind either goes to sleep or gets lost in thoughts or other distractions, caught up in worry, fear, desire, aversion. Attending wisely to the flow of impermanence. Each moment sounds come and go, thoughts come and go, various sensations come and go. That's attending wisely to the flow of impermanence, knowing that everything just arises, lasts a moment, vanishes. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations, pleasure or pain come and go, sounds come and go, thoughts, ideas come and go, thoughts of I, me, and mine come and go. These are all just a continuous flow of body-mind phenomenon in their nature of impermanence, just arising because of contacts, lasting briefly, vanishing. Through the space of present moment awareness. That is the appropriate knowing and seeing. Restraining the urges to want to move or entertain various thoughts. what thoughts arise based on that sound vibration. Now, in the last few minutes of this meditation, let's turn our attention toward cultivating thoughts of friendliness, kindness, best wishes to our own body and mind, as well as to all other living beings, cultivating thoughts of metta. So again, take some deep, slow breaths. As you breathe in, hold the air in your lungs as long as you comfortably can. Try to feel those subtle vibrations of oxygenating blood, which is like sending metta to your own body and mind. Just feel those vibrations going through the nervous system. Slowly breathe out, letting the awareness be in the present moment. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating these thoughts. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. May I be free from excessive attachment and greed, anger or hatred, jealousy, envy, fear, pride, and ignorance. May I be free from the pains and sufferings of body and mind brought about by such unskillful thought, speech, and actions. May I also have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I be able to continue to deepen my understanding of the Dhamma and the practice of meditation, to help free the mind from confusion and suffering. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. Still try to continue taking some deep, slow breaths. With each out-breath, or if you can feel your heart beating with each out-breath or heartbeat, just imagine sending out these same kind of metta thoughts outward to all 10 directions, out of your house, across your neighborhoods, and fields, valleys, through the towns and cities. Just with the thought, may all living beings, wherever they might be well, happy and peaceful, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance, free from self-created pains and sufferings of body and mind due to such unskillful thought, speech, and action. May all beings have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. Again, with each out-breath or heartbeat, just imagine these metta thoughts going further and further outwards across the whole country, across the oceans, to all the continents, and beyond. Wishing may all living beings have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May all beings be able to live peacefully and harmoniously together, understanding the ultimate interconnectedness and interdependence of all things. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. just like a mantra reverberating throughout space. Well, peaceful and wise. And now to finish the meditation, I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting sadhu on a long out breath, feeling those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. You now mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath as you breathe in. Stretch your head back. Pull the hands against your knees to arch the spine. Feel the sensation. And lift the head up, and on an out breath, press the chin to the top of your chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift up the chin level on an in breath. Then relax on the out breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. So this brings our evening Dhamma discussion and meditation to an end. As I always say, mindfulness should never end. During the week, during the day, try to practice the M&Ms, stopping every hour for 1 minute to bring your mind back to the present moment. Take a few deep breaths to recenter the mind and let go of negativity. Okay, friends, so wish you all the best. May you be well, peaceful, mindful, and wise. And
Thank you.
we'll see you again next week, perhaps. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.